So, you ask us questions, we'll answer them. We'll do Vikings history, Vikings vintage questions, but you can also ask us new stuff as well. We will we'll get into it. I'm sure we have some spicy questions coming up. We have some spicy answers. Hey, you know what? I know this is Vikings vintage, but we can talk what's going on right now as well.
Skull Vikings, let's win this game. Skull Vikings, honor your name. Go get that first down, then get a touchdown. Rock 'em, sock 'em, fight, 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 fight. Go Vikings, run out the score. You'll hear us yell for more. V-I-K-I-N-G-S. Skull Vikings, let's go.
This is what's going to happen this year.
I got a feeling it is too. I got a feeling it is.
So, anybody have any questions for us in the chat? We got 8 people watching.
Mm-hmm.
You guys on X, if you put a question in, I can see it. We'll go ahead and answer it for you. So, I guess we could talk about what's going on with JJ.
Oh, jeez.
They're not too far away, but they're kind of far away, if that makes any sense.
It's a guaranteed money, I believe. That's the problem.
And I would rather pay someone less money to guarantee it than pay them non-guaranteed and pay them more. So, like 45 million non-guaranteed or 37 guaranteed. I think I'd rather do 37 guaranteed.
You know, we just got out of the whole guaranteed contract thing. I think they're trying to avoid that for a while. Oh, good one, Bob. That's the way to start it off. You know what? I don't know why Kene can't get on the field for more than kick returns. I don't understand that.
Can he catch?
Yeah, we really don't know. Only thing we've seen him catch is kicks, and then that's if they kick to him. They don't always kick to him now. So I don't know.
And I saw something on Twitter today. Let me see.
What about your wife, Melvin? She tried.
All right.
She really tried.
So I want to know what you think about this.
Okay.
Tennessee, close to family, be married. She moved on.
So then there's another question to ask. There.
We figured she was.
So there you go.
And when you return,
Or you can make your comment on that.
He fell down because he kind of had help falling down. That's why. He had help falling down.
I think Bob's the only one who actually said he fell down.
Yeah. He had help falling down. Bottom line.
Yeah. So there was a thing on Twitter. I'm gonna see if I can bring it up real quick. I commented on it.
Okay.
I said my toilet paper is worth more than this list. So then you also have how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck to chuck wood? That's a good one. Yeah, it's basically it was. I had it set up, but I guess there's when Twitter automatically refreshes. X.
When it automatically refreshes, you lose whatever you had.
Yeah.
You lose it.
So I had it saved, but let me see if I can find it.
What was the question? What was it about?
Oh, best linebackers of all time. They had a tier list, and there wasn't one single Viking on it.
If you think about it, the only Viking linebacker that was known league wide as being one of the best was Matt Blair.
But he wasn't on the list.
No Vikings. I think I saw that list you're talking about. No Vikings were on that list.
Yeah, it had like 7 Bears on it.
Well, you know what? When you think of the Bears, they've had some damn good middle linebackers. I mean, Bill George, Dick Butkus, Mike Singletary, Brian Urlacher. You can't take that away from them. We've had good ones. We've had Lonnie Warwick, Jeff Seaman, Scott Studwell, Jack Del Rio. We had E.J. Henderson, who was good before he got his leg shattered, literally. But never had that league-wide best in the league. We've never had a linebacker that was considered best in the league. Not even Matt Blair.
They recommended that he try to better understand.
Well, I think Scott Studwell should be on the list.
Yeah, but to a national media, we know how good Scott Studwell was. But to the national media, they never really got to see Studwell because he played on some really average teams at one time. And and he was overshadowed later by Millard and Dolman. And before then he was starting with what was the latter years of the Purple People Eaters. So, but then Scott Studwell was also overshadowed by Matt Blair. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, and Jeff Seaman was a perennial Pro Bowler. He went to the Pro Bowl like every year. He was in the league except for like maybe 2 or 3. So, yeah, but to not have it, and we've had some damn good linebackers. It's just nationally, they just don't get recognized. They just
That's what I hope. I mean, maybe it's the whole Minnesota thing,
and that could be it too. But Minnesota is always known for great defensive lines and good offensive line players. So a linebacker out of that bunch is completely unheard of. And like I said, the best one was Matt Blair. He was the perennial All-Pro.
Yeah. So everything else I posted on is on here except for that. So that's weird. But yeah, so that looked good.
Yeah, EJ's was really ugly. His injury was really ugly. I'm gonna tell you something. I might be willing to move on from Booth. I might put it out there that he's available by a trade.
I know I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, I'd even put Evans out there too. See what you can get for. I mean, they're young. They're young. With Booth, I don't know what it is with Booth. Evans is injuries. With Booth, I think it's more mental than anything. But put the feelers out there and see what you can get for him. We need
Yeah, I mean, just because he hasn't performed well for us, it doesn't mean that another team.
Exactly. Exactly.
Maybe he fits their defense better.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's just don't draft him and then let him go via free agency. See if you can get something for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the QB room is loaded. Oh, I remember Viking Update. I used to get that every Monday after every Viking game. That's
how I was able.
Yeah.
When I'm looking to the side, guys, I'm looking at my big monitor I'm looking at Tony and looking at the chat stuff, and I'm looking at my laptop's up here. But so I am looking at you, even though I'm not looking into the camera. That's how, not living in Minnesota, that's how I kept up with Vikings. Was the Viking update?
Yep.
Because you can get the sporting news, you can get the pro football talk, the big, but that's just regular NFL. That's not really the Vikings.
And when it first came out, it was Carl Kaselke's Viking Report, and he brought that out in '74. And then Bob Lertzma took it over in '78, and Lertzma had it out every Monday morning. It was out. They printed that as soon as that Viking game was over. They put the stats and everything, and they put it out on Monday morning. I used to grab that before I went to school. And then when he sold it to Tommy Kramer and his company, it started coming out on like Wednesdays, but it was still must read. You had to have that if you were a Viking fan. That's where you got most of your Viking news. Especially if you're like Ketch and you lived in another state. That was the only way you could get it. Luckily in town here I had the local papers also. So, and the radio reports. So
yeah, it's hard to get when you live out of. Now it's a lot easier because of the internet, but back then it was hard if your team was not local.
Right. The best you could do was, and they also used to have a newspaper called Pro Football Weekly, which I loved.
Yeah, I think that was the one.
Yeah,
that I got.
Yeah, Pro Football Weekly was that was kind of like your Bible for NFL because it was all NFL and college football. And then you had the sporting news, but that covered everything. But yeah, if you were a football fan or a Viking fan, must read was the Viking update. That was a must read.
So let's see here. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Davey?
What up, Davey?
The Vikings were arguably the best team. You know, De Niro, I haven't felt that way since the 70s. Without question, the 70s teams, but then that 98 team, I felt it. And there were a couple of teams in the 80s that I felt they were the best team. But yeah, it's been
Well,
it's
the
been a
strike
long.
doesn't happen in '87. That's another year they probably should have won.
Yeah, 87 and 88 were good years for this team. That didn't work out. And then 89, they brought in Herschel, and that just screwed up everything.
Yeah.
That just screwed up every damn thing with the team. Tommy Kramer even talks about that. Yeah, Tommy Kramer still talks about that to this day. That it ruined the chemistry of the team, bringing in Herschel Walker.
Yeah, because he wasn't even a fit for the offense. No, he was not. Ridiculous.
No, he was. We couldn't run the ball, but that. I mean, you had Rick Fenny, who was actually your most dependable runner at the time. You still had Alfred Anderson, Alan Rice. They were dependable guys, but you did not have to give up what you did for Herschel Walker. I mean,
no.
Walker was a star, but
not that much of a star.
Right.
Not to give up that much.
Yeah, we didn't need him that much. And yeah, once again, yeah, Davey, you're right. Thank you, Mike Lynn, for building the Cowboy Dynasty. I mean, if they're going to build a statue, they should build one to Mike Lynn.
I tell all the Cowboy fans we deserve half of one of them trophies.
Oh, I just tell them you're welcome. I just, because, it set us back probably 5 years.
What up,
Hey, Eric, what's up? Yeah, Benchwarmer Bob's. Yeah, there was always the computer picks were kind of, especially back then when the computer was like this brand new thing. Little did we know it was going to take over the whole damn world, but
Skynet is happening, people. Skynet is happening.
mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you, De Niro.
Oh, thanks, De Niro. Thank you. Well, the Where Are They Now? And when Viking Update did it, a lot of the guys still lived in the Twin Cities, and a lot of them were still with us. The numbers are kind of getting small for the old guys. We're losing them slowly.
Yeah.
We've got the current guys, which a lot of them stay kind of current and stay in the news doing other things outside of football. But with a lot of the older guys, those that are still with us, they've all been living quiet lives, quiet, peaceful lives.
Yeah, that would also cause. I would have to do a lot of research. Now that I got a job, I got time to do research.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another reason why. And it's just like Tony said, a lot of them are gone now. The ones we have left don't really live in Minnesota, or or if they are, they're active and you know what they're doing. So there's that.
Well, and of all the purple people eaters, they're still with us except for Doug Sutherland, who passed away recently. But I mean, Gary Larson, I believe, lives in California. Alan does make appearances, but not so much for football. Carl still makes a ton of appearances.
Yeah.
And Jim, he doesn't get out like he used to. Jim's almost 90 years old, folks. He's still with us, but he's damn near 90 years old.
Well, they're all getting old.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting up there. In 98, I didn't feel like we were the best team because of the defense.
Definitely the best offense.
Offensively, we could run with anybody, but defensively scared me. It worried me because we just did not have those stellar defensive players in 98. Outside of John Randall, you had an undersized Eddie Mack in the middle. Jimmy Hitchcock, who was hot and cold. That's about it. The defense just was not. The defense was lucky in 98 that they were always playing with a lead most of the time. And usually when that Viking offense scored, they scored right away, and they scored in a hurry, and they scored multiple points. So basically, opposing teams were playing catch-up. Now, when we played Tampa Bay, that's where that defense got exposed. Down in Tampa Bay, we lost by a point. But
yeah, they ran it down our throat.
Yeah, But yeah, I just defensively, defense worried me. Yes, I remember that. They sent them to this retreat. It was like a team bonding retreat, and there was a whole bunch. Players were complaining and talking about Mike Lynn, and players weren't getting along. There was locker room stuff going on, and players getting busted drunk driving, and that was in late between 88 and 89. This team, it was a dysfunctional team, but they still won. But yeah, they put together this little retreat type camp thing for bonding and team unity and all that. I remember that. Yeah, it's. I thought it was a joke then.
Yeah,
I thought it was a joke then. So.
I mean, he kind of did by playing it safe.
He did by playing it safe. He was coaching not to lose.
Yeah.
He was coaching not to lose, and usually when you coach like that, you lose. You still had 30 seconds, and you got the most prolific offense in the NFL, and you're going to take a knee in regulation? Come on. So, yeah, it just that was. And I talked to a friend of mine. He was friends with Denny up until Denny passed away, and he said that always bothered Denny, right up until the day he died. That bothered him. Hindsight's 2020, but yeah, that always bothered him. So
Yeah, that would that would haunt me too.
yeah,
That would if I made that decision, and especially knowing that was the best chance that we had.
my whole thing was with that game. Okay, your defense was already banged up because half your defense was on the sideline hurt. So why wouldn't you take that shot why wouldn't you take that shot in the take that shot and get in field goal range and maybe give Gary Anderson another chance to redeem himself?
So this goes to this question right here. So I don't know if you got these are the
these are the undrafted free agents.
So I'm gonna say, to me, the best three. I think this guy right here
Murphy definitely is one.
is going to be a starter by the end of the season.
You think so?
Yeah,
Is he a linebacker or a defensive end?
both. He played both at UCLA.
Okay.
And then this guy also has a chance to be a starter. He's the only true nose tackle on the team.
Is he like 6'3", 330 or something like that?
Yeah, he's 6'2", 335.
He could be starting.
He's like a Jerry Ball.
Okay, he could be starting.
Yeah. So I don't know when though, but he could be starting. The third one's kind of hard. I guess I'll go with McLaughlin.
McLaughlin, yeah, McLaughlin.
I guess I'll go with him. He's tall. He didn't play well his last season in Arkansas, so I think that's the reason why he dropped. But then we also have Doug Meester from West Virginia, offensive lineman.
Is he a guard, center?
I think he's more inside than outside.
So he's be a guard?
Yeah, I guess I find out.
They got him listed as an offensive tackle.
Yeah. So, not big. So, yeah.
They still need a left guard. They need a left guard and a center. I'm not comfortable with either Brandel or Bradbury. I'm not comfortable with either one.
So it's like 6'6", 314 pounds.
How much?
He's 6'6", 314 pounds.
I think I'd play him inside. Yeah, I would play him inside.
Right. There we go. Yeah, so definitely, I think those are probably the best three, 3 or 4. The other ones I don't know much about, but I definitely think Gabriel Murphy is going to be a starter by the end of the season.
Right. Yeah, the defense in 98 was not the best. No, yeah, true.
They were the best.
Those was the Vikings.
They were the best NFC team.
Yeah, they were the best. Atlanta was number 2. But Minnesota was the best.
Well, Jimmy Hitchcock had 7 picks. I think he returned 4. We did the 98 season last week. He had 7 picks, returned 4 for touchdowns.
Yeah, but he got burned in the championship game on that
Yeah,
fourth
they-
down play.
The Broncos. Well, if you go by them winning the Super Bowl, they were the best team. Yes,
Mhm.
we covered that too.
Oh yeah, that was a retreat of sorts. Yeah,
I'm not saying they would have definitely beat them, but it would have been a hell of a game.
it would have been a good game. It probably would have went down to the wire.
Yeah,
It would have been a good game. Randall was the biggest difference. Randall. We needed that. We needed that pass rush, and we didn't have it.
Yeah.
I mean, Jason Fisk was our best pass rusher with 2 sacks. I mean, what does that tell you? We needed John Randall that game.
yeah. Dalvin Cook would have helped. I don't know if Dalvin Cook would have helped in 2017 with how bad they got beat.
Unless Dalvin Cook played slot corner, yeah. But
Yeah,
you know, he didn't. He wasn't gonna. Him missing 2017 wasn't a big deal.
you're a Vikings fan, George. It's all about pain.
That is the life of a Viking fan, George. A lot of pain. A lot of pain.
They really like Richter, the Air Force end. They really like him.
They really like him, yeah. Yeah, they really like Victor. At least he'll be a special team guy.
I don't.
You know what?
Ever
I'm not
wish
big
draft
on.
pick.
I'm not big on spending a draft pick on a kicker, especially with our history. I'm sure he would have been there in the UDF day, but here's the thing: kickers are a dime a dozen. So we still need interior line help on the defense. We haven't upgraded that at all. Maybe they did okay in free agency, but that defensive line needs a lot of help. A lot of help. So, I mean, we probably got the best set of linebackers in the league if you think about it, but that defensive line is atrocious. There's nobody on that defensive line that I would have to game plan for. Nobody at all. Matter of fact, if I'm an opposing defense, if I'm an opposing offense, I'm running the ball on the Vikings. I'm running the ball right up the gut.
Yep. Until they stop it.
Yeah, until we can stop it, I'm running them up. I'm running the ball. You know, because we did nothing to upgrade that area. Nothing, literally nothing. So we'll see what happens. I trust Brian Flores, but once again, he's going to have to work a miracle with that line. We just have no defensive line help at all.
Yeah, even in the draft, unrestricted free agents, they still didn't get a lot of defensive linemen, or they didn't get very many guards either.
Well, and it's not like, even with the picks they made later, they still could have had, you could have had the kid from Northern Iowa, who I pounded the table for. You had some good linemen out there that you could still have drafted, but you can go and get a kicker. So, yeah, very much so. They had the 2017 defense had a pass rush led by Hunter and Everson. You still had a rush coming up the middle too. But that corner, that slot was where Terrence Newman was, and it showed. It was bad.
Yeah, the Vikings.
The Vikings love him.
Yeah,
The Vikings love him.
Yeah, Andre Carter is Army. Riker is Air Force.
So we've got what 2 military guys on the roster right now. So yeah, we had a lot of options for the line there, and we kind of passed on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I am optimistic for this year. I'm looking forward to this year. I think with a lot of Viking fans, it's kind of that weight
So
is off their shoulders, so they kind of feel relieved.
I got a question for the people in the chat. What do y'all think about this story? I think it's hilarious.
I don't know why anybody is shocked by this. If you're a Viking fan, why are you shocked by this? And
Yeah.
if that's the case, that tells you everything you need to know about Kirk Cousins. Everything you need to know.
Yeah. I think it's hilarious.
I mean, why do you think the Vikings never got a backup quarterback up here while he was here? Because his fragile ego. We said that many times. I'm not the only one that said it. There were others that said it. They'll never get a quarterback up here that will threaten his job because he can't handle competition. Although that's how he got his starting job in Washington.
Says Cousins reportedly had no idea that the Falcons were going to take a quarterback at number 8 overall, a decision which left him shocked and disappointed, according to NFL media.
First of all, as the team, they don't have to tell Kirk anything. It's their team. They do what they want. Kirk has this thing that, the only team that coddled Kirk were the Vikings. That's the only team that coddled Kirk.
Yeah.
And we didn't coddle. When Kwesi said they're still going to draft a quarterback, he left. He left.
Yeah, I saw a story today to where because there's some people in his inner circle say that he regrets leaving Minnesota now because at least Minnesota was honest with him about drafting a quarterback. The Falcons said absolutely nothing about it.
Okay, first of all, when you say honest and drafting a quarterback, here's the thing. Did the owners tell Kirk they weren't going to draft a quarterback, or did the general manager and coach tell him they weren't going to draft a quarterback? Did anybody tell him that?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, Kirk, you're getting $100 million guaranteed. You're not going to play forever. You're coming off an injury. Guess what? This general manager, Raheem Morris, this was you being signed by them was not their decision. You were the owner's decision. They're the ones that drafted Penix. You can say what you want about Penix. You can't pass on a quarterback like Penix. You can't. You just can't.
No. I was almost thinking like the Vikings are picking at 11. There's still 2 quarterbacks there. Who are they going to take?
Right. Right.
Atlanta kind of took it away from them, but
no, and I don't. You know what? I don't fault Atlanta at all. I applaud them for making the move. I do. You need defensive help, but you need a quarterback too. And guess what? They don't know what Kirk's going to do. They don't know if Kirk's going to be healthy. I mean, Kirk is 35. He's getting older. He's regressing. I
think it's kind of funny though that some of these Falcons content creators were like, "Oh, I can see why they took Michael Penix." Kirk, the history of Kirk Cousins' injuries. I'm like, the history of Kirk Cousins injuries.
I know. Really? Yeah.
I said they took a guy who actually has a history of injuries.
Yep. So they took Penix. Okay. But I mean, if Kirk's gonna bitch and moan about it, I mean, come on. That's on Kirk. You knew he was gonna go for the money anyway. So he's
Yep.
He's finding
exactly.
out. I don't feel sorry for his ass at all. You know?
But when you play the business game comes back and bites you.
Yeah. And you notice when it happened, it was his agent that got up there and said, "Well, Kirk's not happy, dude.
Yeah.
Kirk's not running the team, okay?
Do you think J.J. McCarthy would be upset that they brought in another quarterback?
No,
I don't think so.
no, because McCarthy's. You know what, McCarthy? Say what you want about him. He's got that dog in him. McCarthy's got that dog in him. McCarthy will fight. McCarthy will play, and he'll leave. He will play on the field. That he will put it out there like, yeah, I'm the starter, and this is why I'm the starter. And if you can take my job, come and get it, but you're not getting it. McCarthy is just got that attitude that this team hasn't had a quarterback in years. He's got that dog. I'm just gonna put it there. He's got that dog, and I can't think of a quarterback since
So
Dante had it, Tommy had it. It's been a long time.
So these are the new numbers for people who don't know. Shaq Griffin is 1. Trent Sherfield is 11. He's probably going to end up being the number 3.
Sherfield,
Yeah. Sam Darnold 14. AJ Green 28. Aaron Jones got 33 from us from Brian. So
the numbers been Ginkgo
43.
43.
49 for Seth Vernon, the punter. Blake Cashman, 51. Jaheed Ward is 52. Camu Ruger Hill is 54. Grenard is 58. Dan Feeney is wearing 69. Jonah Williams is 92. John Parker Romo, the kicker, is 96. That's going to be hilarious. And Jerry Tilley.
I don't think he makes a team. I'm curious to see how this new kickoff rule works.
That looks so sweet right there. McCarthy is a 9. Turn is 15.
These are draft choices.
Yep, our kicker is wearing 46. There's Rodriguez.
Wearing 50.
The more I watch on this guy, the more I like him.
He's kind of a John Randall type of guy.
Yeah.
He is. I like
he
him.
shoots the gap really well.
Mm-hmm. I like him.
Then you got Jurgens, you got Rouse, and that's it. So, and undrafted free agent numbers. Harper's 38. These guys are with the team.
And they gave Murphy Matt Blair's number.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Did you see who they gave McLaughlin?
Joey Browner.
Joey Browner's number. Yeah, and Tiki's were 94, which is what's his name?
Right.
Pat Williams. And then these are the veterans who changed their number. Ivan Paceman back to 8-0. Brian Asamoah is 4.
Asamoah's wearing 2. Oh,
Wearing
God.
2. Yeah. Tristan Jackson's wearing 8. The punter's now wearing 17. Malik Knowles is 19. And Najee went from 11 to 36.
They're going to be looking for another punter.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be looking for another punter.
So.
Yeah, they're going to be looking for another punter. So don't get comfortable, dude.
He was bad last year. Yeah. When I don't know if you guys have seen the videos of it being drafted. First thing McCarthy said was, "Yo, my dog."
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to watch him, man. I think, yeah.
Kramer was probably about 6'1", maybe.
McCarthy's 6'1", yeah. Young, that could be anywhere other than a big city in Texas.
Yep.
What up, Dorian?
Hey, what's up, Darren?
Dorian, sorry. Tommy Kramer.
He might have been 6'1", maybe 6'2". You can make the best All-Star Vikings defense. Who would it be? Oh, geez.
Jerry Bronner. Jerry Bronner. Jerry Bronner.
Well, front four wise, Eller, Marshall, Page.
I would put
Eller, Marshall, Page, and then I would probably make the tackle. See, I always like Keith Millard. The dude was a beast.
or we're running a 4-3. We're running a
I'm running a
4-3.
4-3.
Okay, you're running a 5-2.
You know what? I don't fuck with a 5. I don't fuck with a 3-4. It's a worse. It's a late but bad defense. It's a terrible defense.
The guy who invented it just died, by the way.
Oh, Collier, yeah,
Yeah.
Collier. That would be my front four. Probably put. Hell, I'll put Randall in there, but Millard is my guy.
I would put Page and Marshall on the ends.
Page was a tackle.
Yeah, I'm talking nowadays,
Mm.
like today. Then I would do Randall and Eller, and then have Millard coming off the bench.
I would make Millard a starter. Dolman would be out there. And I loved Chris Dolman, but you're gonna have a hard time taking a spot from somebody who played in the NFL for 20 years and another one who played 15 years, 16 years.
And then I would also do Studwell would be the middle. Blair and
The other outside linebacker?
yeah. Gotta go Seaman, don't you?
Well, Seaman is a middle guy.
Yeah, but you can play him on this side and play him on the outside, couldn't you?
Actually, I'd probably put Chad Greenway.
Huh.
I would probably
I
put
can
Chad
see that.
Greenway.
I can see that.
My corners are very easy. Carl Lee and Bobby Bryant. And I know everybody's got a love for Antoine Winfield, but I'm going with Carl Lee.
Yeah, Carl Lee is by far and away probably the best corner.
Yeah. My safeties,
after the 70s.
Bottom line, Paul Krause and Joey Browner. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah. That just tells Bob. This just tells you how good the Vikings have good defensive players.
Of course, you could always move Dolman back to outside linebacker, which was his real position.
There's more names. There's Dolman. There's Hunter. There's Hank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're showing your. I mean, you're kind of showing your. For as Pat Williams, for as good as he was, is not even in the top 10 of defensive linemen in Vikings history.
No.
Kevin Williams, you can put in there. Pat Williams is not even close to being top 10 defensive linemen in Vikings history. Yeah. Oh, so your wife works for Elon Musk. That means you guys are in Houston. Oh no, sorry, Austin. Oh no, he has. I think he has two. I think he has one in Houston, one in Austin. But I'm in San Antonio, so Nate Wright was another good one. This just goes to show you how good the defenses have been. Defensive players the Vikings have had.
Yeah, we've had steady defensive players who played for years.
Young, what city are you in? Yeah. Well, the corners and safety, we pretty much agree.
Corners are Bryant and Lee. Safeties are Paul Krause and Joey Browner.
And if you want to put Nate Wright as a nickel,
Now, or Antoine Winfield as a nickel.
yeah. And if you have to have a third safety coming on the field, like if you
Third
use big
safety
nickel,
would be Harrison.
yeah, if they use big nickel like they do now, yeah.
Yeah, Harrison. But yeah, that just
I have family in Friendswood, Texas, young. So. No, yeah.
yeah. Ike Holt was another one, and all those guys would hit. Corey Fuller would hit. Ike Holt would hit.
Todd
Antoine
Scott.
Winfield would hit. Even
Todd Scott. Orlando Thomas would hit.
yeah, and even you know what? Give Trey Waynes credit. He hit.
Yeah. He didn't act like he got hurt every time he got
No,
hurt.
he didn't act like he got hurt when he got burned. But yeah, at least he hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the real ball hawk the Vikings had was, besides Paul Krause, was Bobby Bryant.
Yeah.
Bobby Bryant is second on the team with 51 interceptions all
And
time.
then,
And he played his whole career with the Vikings.
and then you had Hitchcock that 1 year.
And he got Hitchcock the 1 year. But I mean, Paul Krause had 81 interceptions. He had 53 with the Vikings.
Yeah.
So
All-time interception leader.
yep. Yeah, the only reason Washington got rid of him was because the head coach at the time, Otto Graham, said that Paul Krause couldn't tackle.
So when you're picking the ball off all the time.
Yeah, like Paul said, when you had the front seven that we had, if he's making tackles, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Because he said I made 14 tackles in a Super Bowl. That tells you that
Was that the Raiders Super Bowl?
that was the Dolphins,
You turned the fan.
the Dolphins Super Bowl.
Okay. You're taking your cat with you? Okay.
So,
Yeah, there's a lot of people who live in Idaho. Mostly because they come from the same state where people are pretty much people moving to Idaho because they're leaving the one particular state that everybody's leaving, but instead of coming to my state, they're going to Idaho. Oh, Texas has got great weather. You don't want 114 degrees in summer?
all-time offense, three wide set. Okay. Quarterback, Fran Tarkenton. Running back, Chuck Foreman. Offensive line, left to right, Gary Zimmerman, Randall McDaniel, Mick Tinkelhoff, Ed White, Ron Yeary. Tight end, let's see, Steve Jordan. Top three wide receiver slot, Randy Moss. And this is where I'm going to piss some people off. Randy Moss, Sammy White, Chris Carter. That's my three wide receiver set.
You let JJ back in there?
Huh?
You let JJ back in?
Bob, the reason I took Foreman over AP is because as great as a pure runner that AP was, Chuck Foreman was a complete back. Chuck Foreman could do it all. AP could not catch. So, Darian, no AP, Moss, or Carter. Okay, so if I take out Moss,
I'm upset with you, but I love you. I can't
if I
say that.
take out Moss, I would put
I
in
can hold a grudge.
Okay.
Anthony Carter.
I was going to go pee in your car.
So, yeah.
Sorry about that.
But
My
yeah,
wife is going to bed. I'm going to say, going back to that
yes,
question.
Anthony Carter, Bob.
Going back to the question, just to be different, because the default answer obviously is Tarkington, but I'll go Kramer. I'll go Robert Smith. Then Moss. I don't care what. I'll put Moss in there. Um, I would put Moss. Then I would put um, Ahmad Rashad. And I would say that's a tough one because that's another position the Vikings have got great ones at. I think I put Sammy White. I put Carter. So I'll put Carter. So I'll put Carter, Moss, and Ahmad Rashad.
Anthony Carter.
Huh?
Anthony Carter.
Carter.
Which Carter?
Carter. I'd do Chris Carter because he would go over the middle because he's not very fast. Ahmad Rashad is not as fast as Moss, but he's faster than Carter. So
Ahmad never went over the middle. That was the thing.
yeah,
That was Sammy White.
Sammy White sacrificed himself.
Yeah.
No AP or Carter. No AP, Moss or Carter. Okay. Well, AP's easy. So no Moss and no Carter.
Well, you can still put Anthony in there.
Did he specify which Carter?
Chris.
Well, it's Anthony Carter, Ahmad Rashad, and Sammy White.
Yeah. Everybody forgets Hassan Jones, though, and how good he was.
I love Hassan Jones, but he's not better than those guys.
He would have been your fourth. He would have been a.
He's got to me, he's one of the best names ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you're getting one.
So people are now going to like expensive restaurants as opposed like instead of going to like McDonald's or something like that for dinner, they're going to like Chili's or Applebee's because it's cheaper to go to McDonald's in California. I don't know, Young. I don't like the cold mountains. Like we have those in snow. No, don't like the snow and cold. Sorry.
I need to change the seasons. Which as I get older, the winters are harder to deal with, but I need to change the seasons.
We have to change the seasons here in Texas. It's just not as dramatic. So,
Same here. Yeah, Anthony Carter used to get a lot of love, but as times went on, a lot of people forgot how good Anthony Carter was.
He still holds the record for most receiving yards in a playoff game by the Vikings.
Yep. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Yeah, he was a special teams guy too.
Are you actually saying that Tony and I need to cheat to get names from the past?
I announced the offensive line. I said left to right: Zimmerman, McDaniel, Tingelhoff, Ed White, Ron Yeri. That's my offensive line. Yeah, left to right. Nothing but Hall of Famers on there except one, and he should be in the Hall of Fame, and that's Ed White.
Because Hutchinson didn't play with us long enough.
I count Hutchinson as a Seahawk.
You could say that the guard, because we did this on Viking. We did this on a prior show when we did every position. Other than Randall McDaniel and White, there really has not been good guard play in the Vikings' history. It's always been their weakest position.
It's been steady. It's been steady, but
But when you compare it to other divisions, other positions, it's by far the weakest one.
well, but they've got how many Hall of Famers? Well, Randall McDaniel, but Randall held that spot for like 14 years. What's his name? Ed White was a starter for 7 or 8. Milt Sunday.
Ahmad Rashad did more than just catch that one.
No,
pass.
Rashad could play. He could play.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rashad was besides the one he was our game. He was what's his name's he was Tommy Kramer's go-to guy. He was Franz too. He was Franz.
Jake Reed was awesome, but he's not one of the top 8 or 9 receivers in Vikings history.
Jake probably would have been up there if we hadn't drafted Randy Moss.
Yeah.
If we hadn't drafted
And
Randy
by the way,
then,
you guys need to follow Jake Reed on Twitter because he is a hell of a follow and he still loves the Vikings.
oh, he's a Viking through and through. Yeah. Yeah, Percy Darian had a moment. He could have been, if it wasn't for mostly migraines. I think it was the migraines that was a problem.
Yeah.
Oh, Ed White was a beast, dude. And as soon as they trade him to San Diego, it shored up San Diego's offensive line. You know, Dan Fouts said he cried tears of joy when Ed White was traded to the Vikings.
Yeah.
It was Ed White was traded to the Chargers. I mean,
Yeah, JJ's not there yet.
no. Thank you, George.
Well, the Vikings.
Sharif could have been, but the doctors botched his surgery. So he's going to be one of the what ifs. I mean,
And then Zimmer made that stupid ass fucking comment.
you know, it's like the doctors botched his surgery. What does Zimmer say about him?
Remember he made that comment about his injury and not getting back in time or something like that.
Kind of hard to get back in time when the friggin' surgery is what's the
Comment.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zimmer had a tendency to run his mouth too much. Yeah, he could have been. He looked like he was coming into his own too.
Yeah, let me see. Not Michael Floyd. I forgot Michael Floyd. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, he's a St. Paul dude. He's from the Twin Cities. Yeah. He only spent 1 year with us, and then he didn't even play. He was mostly on the bench. You know why he wanted out in Orpheus? He did not want to play with Christian Ponder. That's why. He didn't want to play with Christian Ponder. That's why he wanted out.
I wouldn't want to play with Christian Ponder either.
Nah, I wouldn't want to play for Christian Ponder either. I wouldn't want to play for him either.
I mean, yeah, he had an okay year, but
And then guess what? He goes to Seattle, plays one regular season game against the Vikings, and in the Super Bowl, returns a kick for a touchdown and gets a ring.
yeah, that's another one of the Vikings players who leaves.
Well, and then he got into it. Didn't he throw a weight at somebody? Percy?
Yeah.
At somebody said he threw it at Frazier. Is that true?
I'm not sure. I knew he threw it at somebody.
He did throw a weight.
Yeah, yeah. He definitely was a loose cannon. But was that because of his migraines, or is it just the way he was?
Well, the migraines were even a bigger problem going forward. They got worse. He was a Jet there for a minute. Matter of fact, he was with the Jets, played against the Vikings, scored a touchdown in the first quarter, and then left. Didn't play for the rest of the game because they said migraines. So it's, you know, but now that Percy's not in football, he says a lot of the problem was his he couldn't get a handle on his migraines. Remember, he had migraines in that championship game. That was a big problem.
Yeah, I think if he didn't have migraines, he could have been. Who knows? But he was a malcontent at Florida, though.
Well, Florida was just
Yeah.
that whole program was just a joke.
Yeah. So going back to the Sharif Floyd injury, so we didn't think it would be this long, and to be honest with you, we didn't think it was going to be like 6 years worth of hurt, out of sight, out of mind.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
they said they don't think he knew about the nerve damage when he made that comment. So, I mean, I hope he didn't know about the nerve damage.
Well, it got to the point where arthritis set in, so he couldn't play.
Yeah.
You know, he became arthritic. We still got to pay Darasol too. You know, and I think with management, I mean, Kwesi, I think they're going with the notion that when, you know, we just got out of a guaranteed contract, we're not going to get into another one. You know, I like Hank. I think of Hank more as a nose tackle. So if I was going to play a 3-4, he'd be my nose tackle.
Lining up in that cocked stance.
Yeah, he would be my nose tackle. But yeah. Yeah, I did hear that next year's draft is going to be deep in D linemen, so anything's possible.
It's weak at quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, the D line will be the strength and the weakness will be quarterback. So those teams that are going to be needing quarterbacks are going to have to look at free agency.
I saw a report from a Patriot reporter saying, yes, the Patriots did seriously think about trading back to get more picks, but they also looked at the quarterback class coming out next year. That's why they stayed. Tony, they're coming for you.
Oh boy, let's hurry up.
All right, so I'm going to start a GoFundMe page.
Yeah, so it's next year is for D linemen. So I think if you're going in next year thinking you need a quarterback, forget it. Kicker and punter. Greg Coleman would be my punter. My kicker would probably be Fred Cox. He would be my kicker.
Blair Walsh.
Yeah, right.
No. Ryan Longwell and Burger as a punter. Everybody
See, I
needs to
think
get-
of
everybody
Longwell
needs
as
to get Snickers on the sideline.
a Packer.
He played with the Vikings the same amount of years he played with the Packers.
Yeah, I realize that. Yep.
I disagree with that, Young. Northern California is different than Southern California. But San Diego is nice, but the rest of the state is really bad. My wife has a cousin who lives there. That's why they're thinking about moving. They're lifelong Californians. So, David Palmer and
Palmer would be my kick returner.
I would have him as the punt returner, and I would have Patterson as the kick returner.
Palmer returned kicks though too. He returned kickoffs too. He did it all.
Or Chris Walsh as the punt returner.
No, I was thinking of him more of a special teams guy.
Yeah. I think that's where you're living, Young, because San Antonio is still pretty inexpensive. Like we're paying $2.60 for gas. Groceries are up everywhere, but it's still kind of, not overly expensive. You can drive 45 minutes north, and you can go to Austin, and that's a different world.
Yeah, when he was on the field.
When he was on the field, David Palmer was pretty electric. Amp Lee was pretty electric.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck Foreman, the spin doctor, was pretty electric.
Foreman changed how defenses key on running backs
Yeah.
because Foreman could come out and Foreman could catch. So
You can't trade Darrisaw. I don't know why people say trade Darrisaw.
you trade the one that's probably going to be traded. The one that could be traded is O'Neal, especially since he got Rouse. He could,
Yeah,
he
and
could
if
see
you watch-
O'Neal get traded.
If you watch the trap video of Rouse, Quasey says, "Oh, I like Rouse. I really like Rouse." So
Yeah. So O'Neal could be the odd man out.
not
there's-
for defensive lineman. Calais Campbell is like the best available defensive lineman. It's nothing after him.
Yeah, you're probably going to have to wait till June 1st for the June 1st cuts.
Yep.
You got to wait. That's going to be interesting because we're going to have some cuts ourselves.
Thank you, North. Thank you for joining as usual.
Take care, Norpheus.
Nah, quarterback is always one.
Quarterback will be one until now. This is unfortunately nobody runs the ball anymore, so everything's on the quarterback. Used to be the running backs were the ones that were the number ones because that was a NFL, but now today's football, you got to be able to throw the ball, which can be, I don't know.
Yeah, Young, I understand what you're saying, but finding a franchise quarterback, is by far and away the hardest thing to find.
Sometimes you find a franchise quarterback without looking.
Yeah, that's what the 49ers did.
Brady was without
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah,
Purdy right now is without looking, but they're going to have to pay Purdy. They're going to have to pay him.
Yeah.
But
I heard Mahomes could have been an Eagle.
what, by trade or what?
No, that's the reason the Chiefs traded up to get Mahomes, because the Eagles were going to take him. That came from the general manager of the Eagles, who used to be with the Chiefs at the time. He had an interview, and he was saying, "Yeah, I was with the Chiefs at the time, and we knew the Eagles were going to get Mahomes, so that's why we traded up to get him."
And who started that fiasco? The Bears.
Oh, I love Leo Leos. Oh, forgot about he'd been a great punt returner.
Oh, Leo was I like Leo.
Well, there's only been 11 head coaches in the history of the Vikings.
And they went through the rough patch because guess what? You had to deal with once Denny left. Denny was not fired; he resigned.
Mhm.
They hired Mike Tice, who only got the job because he was the narc for the Wilt. He was the narc for Red McCombs, and he was cheap. And then
Very cheap.
when McCombs sold the team, the Wolves came in and they wanted to put their stamp on it. Well, they went out and got Brad Childress. Big mistake. He should not have been a head coach. Should not have been a head coach.
Talking about Tony, my kick-ass offense.
This way, the Vikings fired Mike Tice like 50 minutes after the final game. 6 days later, they had a new head coach. They announced Childress. And
Hey,
Childress.
Mary.
Hey, Mary, how's it
How
going?
you feeling, Mary? I always like to get an update on how you're feeling. I always think about you. Like, I wonder how Mary's doing today.
But yeah, Childress just should never have been and put that on the Wolves.
Yeah, George. Thank God he's on an Eagle. God, their fans are bad enough. Can you imagine if they had 3 Super Bowls?
Oh, they'd be unbearable.
Yeah.
They would be unbearable.
You ain't the only one.
Yeah. A lot of people didn't like him. A lot of people didn't like Childress. His own players didn't even like him.
My offense.
He looked more like Major Dad to me. He looked more like Major Dad. My God. He was make-believe because guess what? He never called plays with Andy Reid.
That kick-ass offense sucks. I need Brett Favre to come in.
He never called plays with Andy Reid. Andy Reid didn't give up play calling until Marty Mornhinweg. He got Marty Mornhinweg in Philly.
Well, we're fixing to find out how good KOC really is.
Yeah, I'm excited too, Mary. I'm excited for this year.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm excited is because it literally is a brand new team.
Mm-hmm.
This team is now KOC's team, and it is also Kwesi's team. So going forward, if this team falters, this is all on KOC and Kwesi.
2 years ago, the Vikings were one of the oldest teams in the league. Now they're one of the youngest.
Now they're one of the youngest. Yep, now they're one of the youngest. Hey, Darian, you're right. Guess who else ain't called plays? Yeah, the guy we got now. The guy we got now. He never caught plays until now. So
Twins won again tonight. They won 14 of the last 16.
Yep.
And the T-Wolves are shocking me.
They're shocking everybody. They're playing defense. Wolves are playing defense.
Yeah.
I still say the Vikings this year win. I said they win 11 games. I'm thinking 10 or 11.
Well, they're tied for the 16th hardest schedule. You know who has the easiest schedule?
Who?
The Falcons.
Yeah, and you know what their record's probably going to be? The future doesn't scare me.
No.
The future doesn't scare me.
Even if they're not good, they took a damn chance for the first time in how long? You know? Instead of just staying pat. You know? Or they could have re-signed Kirk Cousins, but they didn't. They're going after that franchise quarterback.
Spielman would have resigned him.
Mhm.
Spielman would have resigned him.
Well, I mean, I get the whole. Well, look at the offense he ran. He didn't throw very many passes. They ran all the time. But would you rather have a guy who? Would you rather have a guy who went to the coach? This is a story that Mark McCarthy has told. He went to coach. He said, "Hey, coach, I want to run more. I want to throw more. I want to get more involved in the offense." And what did Jim Harbaugh say? Jim Harbaugh said, "What's the most important thing? It's not QB stats. It's not running back stats. It's getting W's."
It's a W.
JJ McCarthy's like, "Okay, coach, let's go." That's the type of quarterback I want. Hell, if he throws 8 passes a game and Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler running for 55 carries and they win the game 17-3 because of ball control, and JJ McCarthy throws 8 passes, completes 5 of them for like 115 yards or whatever, no turnovers.
I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with that, and JJ McCarthy's fine with that. Why? Because they got the W.
Yeah, W is all that matters.
Yeah.
The W is all that matters. And if you really want to see what type of a person Kirk Cousins is, you look at what's going on in Atlanta.
By the way, have you heard Paul Allen's call for
Oh God, I heard it and I'm like, yeah, I won't be listening to him.
JJ to JJ for payday?
Yeah. I'm not listening to Paul Allen. I am not listening to him at all.
Well said, Mary. Well said.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Don't
Yeah,
tell that to Woods.
Yeah, when he was gone, when he said he signed in Atlanta, I'm like, yes, he's no longer my headache. He is now my.
Well, he still kind
girl's
of is. He
headache.
still kind of is. You can't escape Cousins.
Oh God,
He may not be your headache.
he's not
directly.
my headache, but I'm going to hear about it.
Yeah, he's not your headache directly, but he's still your headache.
Right, he's still my headache because he's quarterback in my girls' team. So I'm going to hear her sound like me.
My wife is even happier because her boyfriend's probably might be coming back.
JJ Watt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why is he coming back?
Because he loves Houston, he loves the Texans, and they're good.
Well, you heard the Rams want to bring Donald back.
Mm-hmm.
They want him to come back because obviously they don't have anybody else to rush the passer.
Well, he got Flacco paid, man.
Is Flacco still in the league? Did somebody
Uh-huh.
sign him?
Mm-hmm.
Who signed him?
Who did Flacco sign with? Let me see. But there's only like 15 quarterbacks who ever won like 100 games.
Mm-hmm.
Flacco's one of them. So there's that.
Now, do you think McCarthy starts the season?
No, he's the Colts backup. Joe Flacco.
Oh, Flacco's in Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
So Darnold starts game 1 then?
Well, here's the thing. They say that the Vikings KOC, West Phillips, and McCown had a plan for each quarterback. They said they had 3 quarterbacks that they were willing to draft. They said McCarthy and Drake May, but they won't say who the third is. My guess is it's Penix.
I think it's Penix.
But they had a plan for each of them, and they don't want to deviate from that plan. Basically, they said JJ will play if he hits certain markers. Is what they said. So, well, you got more faith in KOC than Tony does, Mary.
Yeah, he's got to show me some stuff. He had a chance last year. I mean, if he's supposed to be this quarterback whisperer, he's got to prove it to me. Yeah, he's got to prove it to me. Who knows? He might do it. He might prove it. You know, he might do it.
I don't know what that is. A lefty? I don't know what that is. But the reason a lot of people like his playbook, like Ryan Ballinger went deep on his plays, and how the offense is set up and all that. But to me, the reason why I have reservations about KOC being a quote unquote quarterback guru is the Josh Dobbs effect. Look what he did to Josh Dobbs in that Bear game. Now, could you say Josh Dobbs didn't know the full playbook? Yeah, I got that. But you can't get mad at a quarterback who is not a pocket passer, turn him into a pocket passer, and then yell at him at the sidelines when he runs. So that is my reservation of KOC. If KOC would let Josh Dobbs be Josh Dobbs, the Vikings probably would have won more games. So that's the way I look at it. But that's why I own the reservation for KOC. And I think the team plays flat sometimes under him. And I don't think he makes – I know you can't make a lot of adjustments. Most adjustments are made during the week. I get that. But you can make a game – like if they're running a particular defense, you can change the offense to change that, the defense. You can run different plays on the offense. I don't think he does – I think he has a game plan. He sticks with it no matter what the other team is doing. So
I think I'm gonna put this out there too. I think with Turner and I think with McCarthy, there's going to be a little more enthusiasm this year.
Yeah.
That team was pretty monotone. When I say they were pretty unemotional. There was no emotion.
Well, think about the captains on the team last year. Name one of those guys that's vocal. Harrison Smith does not say a lot. He leads by example.
No, Harrison Smith doesn't talk at all.
Kirk Cousins doesn't really
Least
talk.
vocal. Oh, my God.
Danielle Hunter, he's even quieter than Harrison Smith.
Yeah.
So what captain last year was, upbeat? I think is if Pace is a captain this year, that'd be awesome. I don't know if he's going to be, but that'd be awesome. He's definitely not.
We don't have much veterans now except for Harrison Phillips. That's it.
Well, Harrison Smith and Harrison Phillips will probably be two captains. But Harrison Phillips isn't vocal either.
No.
But I think Pace is going to be Defensive Player of the Year.
He showed me something last year. I'm going to have to wait and see this year.
So I think they had the Defensive Player of the Year and they had the Rookie Defensive Player of the Year with Turner.
It may not even be Turner. It could be Murphy.
Should be Murphy too.
It could be Murphy. That's the scary part. It could be Murphy. Well, defensively, I'm excited. Offense, I want to see what KLC does. He's got a lot to prove to me. His game management has got to improve. His play calling and his game management have to greatly improve for this team to move forward. Maybe McCarthy.
But I gotta say though, I agree with Sarah. This is the most excited I've been for a season in a long time. See, see, Young, I brought this up. I said if these picks fail, you could partly bring Kwesi because he's actually the one who did the pick. But if JJ McCarthy fails, it is JJ McCarthy and KOC's fault. Because KOC was like, there's three guys I really like. As long as I get one of the three, I'll be happy.
And first of all, when we hired KOC, he was hired to groom the next franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
He was brought up here to get this team the next franchise quarterback, which there's nothing in his pedigree that tells you he's going to be able to do that. He was riding McVay's coattails.
Hopefully with McCown being there, that helps.
If that's the case, McCown should call the plays.
Well, Les Phillips is suspended the first 3 games.
He didn't do nothing but sit in the press box.
Oh, I know, but
they can suspend him. They can suspend him for the rest of the year. He doesn't do anything. He's just OC and title.
So, George, do you actually drink the juice from the sauerkraut?
I actually like sauerkraut. I will not drink the juice, though.
That's how you know you're a real German, if you drink the sauerkraut juice. And I want to tell you something.
I can handle sauerkraut.
Yummy in the tummy. Oh, German potatoes. You got the Voitwurst. You got the sauerkraut. Oh man, that's good eating right there, man. And living in Texas, there's a lot of good German restaurants here. Yeah.
I'm shocked Stefanski still has a job.
I'm not.
I am.
They had a lot of injuries last year.
I am shocked.
Well, I mean, that was kind of the Vikings. They held on to Zimmer too long. They held on to Zimmer 1 year too long.
Yeah.
Korean food. See, I eat all kinds of food. It doesn't matter where it's from. If it's good, I eat it. I don't care. I get pad Thai just below native Thai spice. If you guys ever eat native Thai, you know how spicy that is. I wouldn't say he regressed because that's just that's who Joshua Dobbs is. So I wouldn't say he regressed. Joshua Dobbs has a couple of good games against a couple bad games. That's just what he is.
He wouldn't. But when you say regressed, I know what he says. He wouldn't let Dobbs be Dobbs.
Right. Well, that goes back to the comment that I was making. But yeah, I don't think Dobbs is who he is. You know. But I kind of see what you're saying.
Yeah, he wouldn't let Dobbs be Dobbs. That I believe. Yeah, that Falcons game is. I think that Falcons game is going to be a primetime game, and it's probably going to be week 1 or week 2.
I was watching ESPN today. They had an insider on it. He said the schedule is not going to be released until next week.
I saw that. Yeah, it's not.
So it's not tomorrow.
We're going to release it.
So we already know some games. Like we know Green Bay is playing in Brazil on a Wednesday or Friday. Sorry. And then we also know there's going to be 3 games on Christmas. all on Wednesday, and then Christmas is on a Wednesday.
Yeah, 3 games because they want to take guys off of the NBA.
Yeah.
So here's a thing. The Wolves will probably be playing on Christmas.
Thank you, George. Appreciate it. You're always here, buddy.
Oh, thanks, George. So I mean,
If you want yelling and shouting, that's Friday's show. That's not this one.
yep.
Well, that's what I was talking about earlier, Young, about how look at the Chicago Bear game. Look how KOC treated,
He coached that game not to lose.
yeah. Oh, thank you, Mary. Time for a non-heater. Yeah. It's becoming that way. But here's my thing. The Bears still have the worst offensive line in the division.
They didn't upgrade the offensive line?
They're just as bad. They're worse at the guard position than what the Vikings are.
Wow.
And people are acting like all of a sudden that they're going to go from a 7-win team to like setting the league on fire. It's like, I mean, I can see you look at on paper. Yeah, I can see that, but do we really know? I mean, their offensive line is bad.
Yeah, you never know when injuries pop up and everything.
Right. And they went 7-10. The Vikings went 7-10 on their four-string quarterback. The Bears went 7-10. Both teams have upgraded, but the Bears are going to be one of the best teams in the league, and the Vikings are going to finish last in the division.
The one who's probably going to regress is Detroit.
I don't know how, but I just don't understand that line of thinking.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I don't understand that line of thinking. Yeah, I think the Lions are going to regress as well.
Yeah,
They're too full of themselves. They're all wearing fucking the head coach's fucking jersey on draft day. I mean, come on, man. I think they're being Lions fans calling NFL Network, Sirius XM NFL channel. Like one guy switched his name from like Lion, like his name used to be like Lions, like Lion Steve or something like that. Now he's like division champ Steve. It's like, I mean, I know you're excited that your team won the first division title in 30 years, but yeah, let's Jordan Love. I keep telling Packer fans this. I said the league now has a year and a half of film on Jordan Love. Yes, I'm sure the Packers will make adjustments, but defenses are going to make adjustments too. So we'll see how good Jordan Love is. But I hope Jordan Love plays well enough to where the Packers give him like a shit ton of money, like the Cowboys did with Dak. Yeah.
I'm not worried about anybody in the division, to be honest. I'm really not.
I don't know. Everybody keeps saying that. But when was the last time the Bears have ever had a really good offense, even when they've had talent? It's
Even when
that franchise, it's just something that franchise has never had.
They haven't had a good offense. They didn't even have a good offense when they won it all.
Yeah.
They had Walter Payton. That was it.
Yeah.
You had Willie Gault. You had Dennis McKinnon. You had a steady offense, but
Enough to win.
You had enough to win. But in this day and age of nothing but offense, they haven't had it. Now they could have had it if they probably drafted Mahomes, but they went with Trubisky.
I am so glad they did not take Mahomes. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that could have been. I mean, Mahomes in this division, that could have been a nightmare for us.
He, in my opinion, I would. He has the talent to be a great quarterback. I don't think he has the mental capacity to be a great quarterback.
Yeah, it just
Especially in Chicago when stuff starts to go wrong.
like the weather.
Yeah, he's a Southern California boy. He does not like cold weather.
Mm-mm. Oh, he's gonna hate Chicago.
Yeah, it gets cold in Oklahoma, but nothing like what it does in Chicago.
Oh, Chicago. There's
Yeah.
different types of cold.
Yeah.
Very different types of cold.
Thank you, George. Appreciate it.
Oh, thanks, George. Yeah,
We
there's
try.
different types of cold.
Yeah, I think history has shown that when 6 quarterbacks are taken like this, 2 of them are going to be great. One's going to be really good. One's going to be almost Mahomes level. The other one's going to be, I would say, going to be like Mahomes and Burrow comparison as far as talent wise and how good they play when they're healthy. One is probably going to be a career backup or a very good or a starter that you can win with, and 2 are going to be bust, and maybe 3 are going to be bust. I think Bo Nix and Williams are the top 2 candidates to be bust. Daniels, I don't know. He does get hurt a lot, so I can see that. Penix, if Cousins plays like Cousins played last year before he got hurt, Penix ain't start for a while. By the time he plays, he'll be 30.
I think, and I'll tell you what, he's going to play this year. Penix is going to play this year.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think the Falcons,
George, it's okay. The only reason, with me being pretty much 99.9% German, the only reason my name does not start with a K is because my dad wanted us all to have the same initials. My dad wanted me, my brother, and I all to have the same initials. So my dad's name was Carl, but it's spelled with a C. So it's Americanized.
Mhm.
So
he's gonna have to learn to slide. If he doesn't,
Yeah.
he's gonna take some hits.
And usually the people named Curtis who look like me, their name does start with a K. The C Curtis is usually they look like Tony. My new manager is like, when I saw your name and then I saw you, I was kind of taken aback. I'm like, I get it all the time. Yeah. Never.
Chicago hasn't developed a QB probably since Sid Luckman.
Never.
They've never developed in the modern time. They've never developed a quarterback.
That was the 30s and 40s, right?
Yeah, Luckman was the 40s.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Mary. It's like a 40. It's like the top 2 picks. So if you're taking 1, 2, or 3, the success rate is a little bit higher. But first round quarterbacks hit at only I think it's like a 39% rate. It used to be higher than that, but the 2021 class had really killed that percentage. Only one of the quarterbacks taken in the 2021 draft has got a 5th-year option picked up. And that's Jordan Love.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if Cousins is going to be good as good in Atlanta as he was here because he was protected here.
Well, he's not protected in first, and also you're going to have now. You've got Raheem Morris and the new GM. Their jobs are on the line, so they're not going to let Kirk drag them down. If Kirk doesn't get this team, if he can't get this team to win the South, come on. He can still win the South.
Well, I lost my train of thought. But it's I lost my train of thought. Dang it. Oh, I got you, George. Yeah. Yeah, we talked about it earlier before you joined,
Yeah.
Larry. We shared the story about the reason he left Minnesota is because they were honest with him and said they were going to draft a quarterback.
What's his name was on, I forget what radio show, Kyle Sloter. He was on a radio show and he basically said what we've all said. If Kirk was threatened by you, they did not sign him. That's why Mannion stuck around so long. He wasn't a threat to Kirk.
Yeah.
He was not a threat.
I think the Bucks win the division. What I was going to say is I don't think Cousins is going to play as well in that offense. Yeah, he has weapons, but
He doesn't know those weapons, and
Atlanta fans are different than Vikings fans.
they'll turn on him in a heartbeat.
If he throws a pick six like he did against the Bucks at the Falcons quarterback, and he gets off to a slow start like he usually does, the Falcons fans are going to be like, "What the hell is this? Let's play Penix."
$100 million guaranteed for this? Hell no.
Yeah.
He's not going to get what he got here. Especially with the Viking fans up here that were kissing his ass on a regular basis. That's not happening in Atlanta.
Yeah, it was pretty funny when that story came out.
I wasn't even shocked by it.
Because they said they were going to draft a quarterback, and then he goes to the Falcons and they draft a quarterback.
It's first of all, who the hell are you that we got to tell you anything? You're our employee. Yeah. It's like they don't have to tell you they're going to draft a quarterback because guess what? Hopefully they still have a job and you don't cost them their job like you have others.
Do you think if like Andy Reid goes to Patrick Mahomes and says, "Hey Patrick, we're drafting a quarterback," and Patrick's like, "So, I don't care. I need a good backup."
Patrick don't
because
care.
that'll be the mentality of Mahomes. He's like, "Okay, bring it on."
Yeah.
Not oh.
Well, and I think everybody with a lot of quarterbacks, you can tell they're team players. I mean, Brady took how many pay cuts his time in New England? You know, with Kirk, I mean, yeah, they said Kirk took a pay cut. I didn't hear nothing about Kirk taking a pay cut with the Vikings.
No.
I heard not a thing. All the thing
Tom Brady's like, "I'd rather win. I can't make enough money off the field."
Right. He never had excuses for not. I mean, Kirk was like, "Oh, I got to look at the game film and this and that." Blah. It's like, dude, shut up. Just shut up.
Tom Brady be like, "I played a bad game. I didn't have it today. We'll get him next week."
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. Patrick Mahomes. I don't know if you noticed, but Patrick Mahomes. If you listen to the post-game interviews with Holmes and the post-game interviews with Brady, other than one having sound like he's Kermit the Frog, they pretty much say the same things.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
pretty much say the same things. I'm just waiting to the Bears have a bad game, and I'm waiting for Williams to throw his teammates under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
That may work in college. It will not work in the NFL.
Yeah, Pat McAfee. I can't even listen to McAfee. I'm a wrestling guy, so he's in WWE too. He's annoying there. He's annoying on that radio show. He just bugs me.
Well, he likes Cousins, so when he interviewed him, he really likes him. But I don't know what more. I was a Kirk defender for a lot of times. I got killed for it, but towards the time he left, yes, was Cousins playing his best football of his career before he got hurt? Yes.
I give him that.
Would this team been in the playoffs if he did not get hurt? Did they win the division if he does not get hurt? Yes. Because the Lions barely beat the Vikings with freaking Nick Mullins at quarterback. So, yes. But did Kirk Cousins win in prime time more than what the media said? Yes.
Mm.
But
did he win when it counted?
6 years as a quarterback. He only won one playoff game with a good team. What is everybody saying? this whole draft, what was everybody saying? What's the one team every rookie quarterback wants to go to?
Minnesota.
Because they have the weapons and they have a system in place. JJ McCarthy and interview himself. So if all you quarterbacks hang out together and you all talk, and so what's everybody saying? Like what's the team everybody wants to go to? JJ McCarthy said, I have not talked to all the quarterbacks to this draft, but the ones I have talked to all said they want to go to Minnesota.
Minnesota was the place to go.
So I'm not Ken Williams, Daniels, Drake May, Penix, Bo Nix. They all wanted to come to Minnesota. Why? Because of the structure, because of the weapons. So making excuses for Cousins saying that he didn't have the weapons. I mean, kids, you got him a better offensive lineman, but you know how many quarterbacks could win behind the Vikings offensive line? So I'm just saying.
Put it this way.
Did Kirk Cousins get pressured on that 4th and 8th play and only had like 1 second throw? Yes, but so that's one play though. There was times where the biggest thing about Cousins, and to me it's a difference between JJ, because JJ proved it multiple times this year. The Penn State game, the Washington game, he proved it multiple times that if it's 3rd and 3, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, nobody's open, and there's a hole in front of JJ for him to run, he'll run. Cousins ain't running.
Mm-mm.
So how many more drives? 3 and outs, the Vikings have. How many drives stalled? Because it was 3rd and 3, there was a hole in front of Cousins, and he preferred to throw the ball to a receiver as opposed to running. How many more offensive possessions, how many more plays are the Vikings going to have with JJ at quarterback? So there's another thing you got to look at. Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, you probably put McCarthy behind that same offensive line that Kirk is playing behind, and he probably has success.
Yeah.
Of course, it would also help if our head coach would run the ball. That would help a lot too.
No, I think they were trading at number 3 with Drake May. It was definitely Drake May if they're trading up. Well, everybody, my mom has to go to the dentist tomorrow, so they're getting this big ass drill and they're drilling a hole in her mouth. So enjoy the dentist, enjoy the drill.
Oh, that'll be fun. That will be fun. Well, you know what? On that note, we should probably head out ourselves here, Catch.
We got a couple questions. What do you mean by the Vikings were bridesmaids with their 2 first-rounders?
No, those 2 first-rounders are going to be a big difference.
So here's the thing. Everybody says the Vikings overpaid for Dallas Turner. But if you look at the totality of the trades that the Vikings made, they got 2, probably, you could probably argue the 3rd, 4th quarterback, whoever you talk to. But they also got either the 1st or 2nd best defensive player in the draft.
Depending on whose board you look at.
Right. And what they gave up to get both players is what people were saying they would have to get up just to get JJ.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at it like that, I don't really say it was a loss,
It's not a loss. To me, it's not a loss. And guess what? Denver settled for Nix.
Yes.
They settled for Nix.
Oh, and did you see that it came out today that Peyton was lying about baiting the Vikings into that comment that he made about the Vikings trading? He's like, oh,
yeah.
The Vikings. It came out today. He was lying, as we all knew he did.
He's an idiot.
Cousins has made more money than Brady.
No, I mean, Peyton is just he's a
Drake May. Well, from what I understand, George, the Vikings would have been happy with 3 quarterbacks. Did they like Drake May the most? Yes, but I heard it wasn't by a lot. So there are teams out there who, when the guy is taken or the top 2 guys are taken, they really don't have a third guy, but they need a quarterback, so they take it. Christian Ponder, back in 2011. I think that's what happened with the Vikings back then. KOC, also even insiders like Tom Pelissero, all those guys, they all said the Vikings were extremely happy getting 1 or 3 quarterbacks, and they got 1 of the 3. Dallas Turner, they probably thought they never had a chance to get Dallas Turner.
Well, and that's the thing. Kwesi said he was willing to part with the number 11 pick. He did not want to give up that, what was it, 21?
Yeah.
He didn't want to give that one up. I mean, and for New England, if what we heard about New England wanting to haul was true, I mean, just to get Drake May, well, good luck.
I think the quarterback, the reports are that the Vikings wanted to trade up to 3 to get Drake May.
And I'm glad they did not get Drake.
But I think they are extremely happy with JJ. Like, I think it was kind of like a 1A, 1B for the 2 guys.
I had McCarthy on the top of my. I had Drake May at like 3rd or 4th. I'm glad we did not get May. May's going to New England now, and he's probably going to bomb.
Yeah.
He's probably going to bomb.
Well, you know what, George? We'll find out in a couple years. You could be right. The
only way this is bad is if these guys get hurt. I think they'll both be fine. And McCarthy, he just has that attitude that I love his attitude. So we'll see what happens. But that's where if it doesn't work with McCarthy, that's on KLC. Like we said before, it's on KLC.
Yeah. And we'll find out. Like I said, I won't give a grade on the draft because you have to give at least 3 years before you give a grade. But once again, this was still kind of vintage because we had some all-time lineups. What we do for lineups.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of vintage, but it was more of a ask any kind of question. We got a lot of good answers today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you everybody for coming on and watching us.
We'll definitely back on next Wednesday. We're not doing our Friday show this week because it's every other week. And we will probably do, depending on what night it is, we might, if it's a Thursday night, we'll probably wrap it. We'll probably talk about it on a Friday show. If it happens before Thursday, we'll talk about it at the start of next week's vintage show. If that's the schedule. Whenever the schedule comes out, we will talk about it.
Yep, definitely.
If it comes, like I said, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, we'll talk about it Wednesday. If it comes out Thursday or Friday, we'll talk about it on Friday's show. So I want to thank everybody for joining us as usual. We couldn't do this without you. Thanks for the donations. Thanks for the questions. We really enjoy this show.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so
showing up. And we will see you guys next week.
Vikings, let's win this game. Skol Vikings, honor in the name. Go get that first down, then get a touchdown. Rock 'em, sock 'em, fight, 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 fight. Go Vikings, run out the score. You'll hear us yell for more. Vikings, Skol Vikings, let's go.